Good morning, my dear students. Hope all of you are well and you are doing everything fine. Okay. So today we shall discuss the difference between evaporation and boiling process. All of you know that evaporation is a process in which a liquid changes into vapor state at any temperature below its boiling point. Water from rivers, ponds, sea evaporated to the atmosphere to form cloud. And evaporation is a very slow process and it takes place from the surface of the liquid. But boiling is a fast process in which liquid on heating changes into vapor state at a particular temperature and pressure. So evaporation is a slow process but boiling is a fast process. Evaporation takes place from the surface of the water but boiling occurs from all the parts of the liquid. Actually, when the vapor pressure inside the liquid is equal to the atmospheric pressure, then a liquid starts boiling. But in case of evaporation, these two pressures may not be equal, okay? Or we can tell the boiling is the highest state of the evaporation, okay? So evaporation takes place at all temperature below its boiling point, but boiling point takes place at a fixed temperature, okay? On heating, when it converts from liquid state to vapor state or gaseous state, okay? That is at its boiling point. Like water boils at 100 degrees centigrade. So 100 degrees centigrade, what will happen? That water will form water vapor. But in case of evaporation also, at the room temperature, water is forming the water vapor. Okay, hope you can understand the difference between the evaporation and boiling. Next, this rate of evaporation depends on the different types of factors. Okay, so next we will write the rate of evaporation depends on the following factors. First one is the nature of the liquids. Second is the surface area. Third factor we can tell that temperature. And fourth factor we can tell that humidity. Okay, now one by one we will discuss. First is the nature of the liquid. If the liquid is non-volatile like oil, glycerine, okay, so its evaporate rate will be very slow. But if the liquid is volatile, that means organic liquids, okay, like we can tell that petrol, acetone, diesel, alcohol, okay, here the force of attraction between molecules is very weak, that is van der Waals force of attraction. So what will happen? This type of liquids will evaporate at a faster rate. So definitely the evaporation rate will depend on the nature of the liquid, whether it is a volatile or whether it is a non-volatile. Okay. Next we will discuss that surface area. So evaporation increases with increase the surface area. If we increase the surface area, the evaporation rate will increase. Okay. Often we spread water over the floor, okay, and that dries up very quickly compared to the water kept in a container. Hope you can understand. Okay. Next we will discuss the temperature. Evaporation increases, it increases the temperature. What is happening from surface of the liquid? The solvent molecules are going to the atmosphere. If we increase the temperature, their kinetic energy will be high. Definitely, evaporation rate will be faster. And last one is the humidity. If humidity of air is very high, then evaporation rate will be slow. Okay. After saturation, okay, it is very difficult that when there is the moisture in the wet substance is equal to the humidity of the atmosphere, then it is very difficult to evaporate. But if there is large difference, then definitely the evaporation rate will be faster. So that is why clothes dry faster during the summer season due to high temperature and less humidity of air. But if you think about the rainy season, okay, during that time the clothes are very drying very slowly. Okay, so because of the rainy season the humidity increases. Okay, and that is why the drying of clothes, this process will become very slow. Hope you can understand. So next we will discuss about chemical changes. Chemical changes. Now all of you know that chemical change is a permanent change. Okay, and here a new substance is formed. Generally chemical change is irreversible process and chemical composition of the reactant molecules are always changing. Okay, so if you think about the chemical composition of the reactant, after chemical reaction it will form the product molecule. In product molecule definitely the chemical composition will be different. Okay, its chemical properties, its physical properties will be different. Hope you can understand. And there are many examples of the chemical change like burning of paper, formation of hydrogen gas from zinc metal, souring of milk, any type of chemical reaction, bursting of a firecrackers, boiling of egg, rusting of iron, etc. So a list of examples will be given in your exam. Okay, and you have to find out which one is chemical change and which one is physical change. Now, burning of a candle. If you burn one candle, definitely it is a both physical change as well as chemical change. Why? Because when wax melts, okay, that means solid is turning into liquid. That is a physical change. And wax is made of what? Hydrocarbon containing carbon and hydrogen. So that will react with the oxygen present in the air and forming carbon dioxide and water vapor. Okay, so definitely it is a chemical change also. So burning of a candle, okay, is a both physical change as well as chemical change. Next is rusting of iron. If you keep a piece of iron on moisture and oxygen for long time or long days, then what will happen? There will be formation of a reddish brown coating on the iron surface, and its formula will be Fe2O3.XH2. So hydrated ferric oxide. Okay, so this is the formula of rust. This is also a very slow process as well as it is a chemical change. So next I will demonstrate you some chemical changes. First we will show you that burning of sugar. Sugar, all of you know that sugar formula is C12H22O11. So if you apply it, what will happen? Definitely there will be formation of sugar charcoal, carbon will form, and there will be elimination of water molecule. Okay, so here 11 water molecule will eliminate, and there will be formation of 12 carbon. So observation for each type of chemical reaction, okay, observation is very much important. Now we are starting the activity. Now in a test tube, I have taken some sugar crystals. So these are, you see, these are sugar crystals. Okay. Now we are taking inside a test tube. So now what is the color? Sugar crystals are almost colorless, okay, or it is showing white color, okay. Now we will apply heat. Now slowly you observe what is happening here. Slowly it is turning brownish color, okay. See here, brown color formed. This is called charring of sugar. And deep brown solution is formed. Again, if we apply heat, what is happening, and water vapor is coming out. Here you see, just outside, okay, upper portion of the test tube, water droplets, okay, condensed, because upper portion is cold. So continuously water vapor is coming out, and slowly it is forming black colored solution. And this process is called charring of sugar. Now all sugar turns into black in color. Hope you can understand. So in this way we can show you the burning of sugar. Here sugar formula is C12H22O11, and when we apply heat there is removal of water is removed, okay, and there is formation of black charcoal or black carbon is formed. Hope you can understand. Next activity will show you by addition of some dilute acid like dilute sulfuric acid into zinc metal, granulated zinc, okay. So first we are showing you what is granulated zinc. So inside the test tube you watch. So this is granulated zinc, okay. It is not in the pure form, some impurity is there. Now here if we add some dilute sulfuric acid, what will happen, you see. We are adding dilute sulfuric acid, okay. Now see, one gas is forming. Inside you see, and if you burn this gas, definitely this will be hydrogen gas. And if we burn this gas, definitely it will form some pop sound. So hydrogen gas is forming, okay. Now if we take a lighted matchstick, inside this container, so you observe, okay, what happened, that hydrogen gas burned with blue flame and there is formation of one pop sound, okay. Again I am showing you. So hydrogen gas is forming by reacting with zinc and dilute sulfuric acid. Okay. Now again we are entering one matchstick, burning matchstick. Okay. Inside this test tube, you see what is happening. One pop sound is formed. So this is also a chemical reaction. Here observation is very important. So what is happening here? That zinc is reacting with dilute sulfuric acid, and there will be formation of zinc sulfate plus hydrogen. Okay, so this hydrogen gas burn with pop sound. So actually hydrogen is reacting in air, there is oxygen, and when you are burning by matchstick, then there is formation of water molecule. Okay, hope you can understand the chemistry behind this reaction. But again I am telling, all type of reaction, the observation is very important, and question will be given in your exam to write the observation. Okay, next I will show you some change of color. Suppose if I take some sodium chloride solution, suppose this is a test tube, if I take some sodium chloride solid, we are adding some sodium chloride solid. So I have taken some amount of sodium chloride solid. Now we are making a clear solution. Now it is a clear solution. Okay. Now inside this solution, if we add another solution, that is silver nitrate. This is also a clear solution. No color is present. Here no color is present. Both are these sodium chloride solution, this silver nitrate solution. If we add, what is happening? See. So there is formation of a Cardi white PPT. White color is formed. Cardi white PPT of silver chloride. So this is a color change chemical reaction. Okay. And another thing I can show you. If I add some ammonium hydroxide to this solution, then what will happen? Again it will become colorless. Now by dropper we are adding some ammonium hydroxide solution. Okay. Now if we turn it upside down, now see, it is colorless. And in the same way, if we burn a piece of magnesium metal, it is also a chemical reaction. So this is a magnesium strip. Okay. If we burn here, so huge amount of light and heat is forming. Actually in firecrackers they are using this magnesium, and the ash that is forming, that is nothing but magnesium oxide. So magnesium is reacting oxygen present in air and forming magnesium oxide. Okay. Next I will show you more chemical reactions. Suppose this is a blue color copper sulfate solution. This blue color copper sulfate we are taking inside a test tube. Hope you are able to see. So this is blue color copper sulfate solution. Next what we will do? we will add ammonium hydroxide solution to this copper sulfate solution drop by drop. Now if we add little bit of ammonium hydroxide solution, then first there will be formation of sky blue PPT or light blue PPT of copper hydroxide. But if we add excess ammonium hydroxide solution, what is happening you see? The whole solution turns into blue color. The precipitate dissolves and the inky blue coloration is formed. So these are all chemical changes. Here observations are very much important. Next we will show you that evolution of gas. In another test tube, we are taking some sodium bicarbonate. So this is solid sodium bicarbonate. Okay. Now if we add some acid solution, then what will happen? Observe. So there is evolution of a gas, that is nothing but carbon dioxide gas. So a gas is evolved, we are observing, and if you enter a matchstick, then what will happen? Definitely the fire will extinguish. Just held above it, what will happen? The fire is extinguished. Okay. All of you know that carbon dioxide has fire extinguishing property. That is why it is used in fire extinguisher. Actually we are using sodium bicarbonate, sodium carbonate solution and acid solution, and when we mix these two solutions, there will be formation of chemical reaction and there will be formation of carbon dioxide gas, and that will extinguish the fire. Okay. So all type of chemical reactions, okay, today I have demonstrated. So these are the chemical changes. These are the chemical changes, okay, where a new compound is formed, and these are not generally easily reversible, all are irreversible, okay. And in some reactions there will be formation of heat, and in some reaction there will be absorption of heat. The reactions where heat is formed, okay, these are called exothermic reaction, and where heat is absorbed they are called endothermic reaction, but all are chemical changes. Next we will discuss different types of energies are needed for different chemical changes. Okay. So for chemical changes, what type of energies are required? First we can tell heat energy. If you take calcium carbonate and if you apply heat, definitely it will form calcium oxide and carbon dioxide gas. And if you pass this carbon dioxide gas through lime water, it will form turns lime water milky. Okay, it will form the lime water milky. There will be formation of calcium hydroxide. Okay, so heat is required. Heat is one energy criterion. Okay, that is needed for a chemical reaction. Another we can tell light. Different types of chemical reactions are there. If you take silver chloride, if light is fall on its sunlight, okay, then what will happen? There will be formation of silver and chlorine gas. Or we can show that hydrogen and chlorine is reacting with each other in diffuse sunlight. and there will be formation of HCl gas. Hydrogen, okay. And another we can tell the energy required, okay, for chemical changes, that is electricity. All of you know that pure water is a bad conductor of electricity, but if you add some amount of acid, okay, to this pure water, and if you pass electricity, then there will be electrolytic decomposition reaction and hydrogen and oxygen gas will be formed. Hydrogen gas will be formed at the cathode and oxygen gas will be formed at the anode. So here electricity is required. So these different types of energies are needed for different types of chemical changes. Even there are some reactions where sound is used. Okay. Next we will discuss some important chemical changes like raw grains, raw vegetables we cannot eat. But if we prepare food, okay, by use heat, definitely there will be chemical changes, and then it is very delicious and easily edible. Okay, so these are chemical changes. That means cooking of food is a chemical change. Okay. Next we can tell that soaps, detergents, paints, fertilizer, medicine, whatever we are using in daily life, okay, all are prepared by chemical changes or chemical reactions. Next, burning of fuel, like when we are driving a car, okay, or in kitchen when we are cooking, okay, so here fuel is required. So that means there is hydrocarbon. When we are burning, huge amount of heat is forming as well as light is forming, okay. So this is also a chemical change. Different types of life processes taking place in plants and animals are chemical changes. Okay, we can think about the growing of plant. Okay, definitely there is some reaction, chemical reaction, photosynthesis going on. That is why the plant is increasing and it is converting into a big tree. Okay, day by day. Then we can tell about our digestion of food is also chemical process, because enzymes are breaking the food into the simpler compounds so that they can easily absorb in our body. Okay, and finally it will break down to carbon dioxide and water and to release some amount of energy, and this energy we are using for doing our daily work. Hope you can understand. And another one very important process, life process, is called respiration. Okay, so in respiration we are inhaling the oxygen present in the air and exhaling carbon dioxide. What is going on here? We are taking food, finally it will be stored as glucose, and glucose or any type of digested food will react with the oxygen, and there will be some chemical reaction, formation of carbon dioxide, water as well as energy, and this energy we are utilizing for doing works every day. Okay, so definitely respiration is a chemical process or chemical change. Finally we shall discuss the difference between the physical and chemical changes. So what I told, that physical change is a temporary change, but chemical change is a permanent change. Physical change, no new substance is formed, but in chemical change new substance are formed. In chemical changes, okay, it cannot be easily reversed by simple methods, but physical changes are easily reversible. Chemical changes are associated with energy change, but physical changes may or may not be associated with energy changes. Okay, I can give you one example. Like if you burn carbon in presence of oxygen, it will form carbon dioxide molecule. Definitely there will be evolution of carbon dioxide gas as well as energy. So here energy is formed. But one physical process I can tell you, like tearing of papers. So in this case there will be no change of energy. But when you are changing the state, suppose if you take a piece of ice and if ice temperature is 0 degree centigrade, and it will absorb heat from the atmosphere and it will convert into the liquid state, that is water. So here energy is absorbed. So that is why physical change may or may not be associated with energy change, but chemical change, for breaking of bond, definitely energy is required, as well as when bond is formed, there is release of energy. So definitely chemical change, okay, is associated with energy change. So hope you can understand whatever I have discussed today. In this way, I have completed this chapter as well as your unit test portion. Okay. So next we will discuss different types of questions that may come in your unit test exam. Okay. So today up to this, thank you everybody.